All video clips in this production are used under the fair use exemption for commentary and educational purposes only. Please keep that in mind, YouTube. Merlin wants no smoke. But the truth will stand when the world's on fire.
Law ever become a reality in America? Some fear any nuclear, biological, or chemical attack on U.S. territory might trigger just that. And as KSLA News 12's Jeff Farrell discovered, the clergy would help the government with potentially their biggest problem, us.
From my cold, dead hands.
Charlton Heston's famous declaration captures a truly American value, the overarching desire to protect our freedoms. But gun confiscation is exactly what happened during the state of emergency following Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. U.S. troops also arrived, something far easier to do even now thanks to last year's elimination of the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act. That forbid U.S. troops from policing on American soil.
The founding fathers of this nation knew well the dangers of turning the military loose on a civilian population. They just went through that in a war with their own government, and the memories of the military reprisals that took place were still very fresh in their minds. The military is trained to make war, not to keep the peace. This is the job of law enforcement. All throughout time, the tyrant has used the military and their pet priests to enforce their tyranny. History is replete with examples. Look at Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin. The soldier is trained to kill people, blow up stuff, and to break things. To rule with an iron fist, that is the job. If you wonder why so many of our soldiers have PTSD, this is your first clue. Make no mistake, I have nothing but respect for our soldiers. That's why I would never endorse sending them against their own countrymen. The police have a completely different mindset. Their training protocol is to only use force as a last resort, and when they do, there's an inquest to determine if the incident was justified. The military only investigates to confirm the kill.
If martial law were enacted here at home, like depicted in the movie The Siege, easing public fears and quelling dissent would be critical. And that's exactly what the Clergy Response Team, as it's called, helped accomplish in New Orleans.
Jeff, the primary thing that we say to anybody is let's cooperate and get this thing over with, and then we'll settle the differences once the crisis is over.
Is this the face you would trust to lead your family through a crisis? If any of them survive, maybe the government will give them an apology 50 years later. You know, like they did those people that survived the Tuskegee experiments. But you'll still be dead.
Such clergy response teams would walk a tightrope between the needs of the government versus the wishes of the public.
In a lot of cases, these clergy would already be known in the neighborhoods in which they're helping to defuse that situation.
For the clergy, one of the biggest tools that they will have in helping calm the public down or obey the law is the Bible itself, specifically Romans 13.
Because the government is established by the Lord, you know, and that's what we believe in the Christian faith. That's what's stated in the Scripture.
Romans 13 says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but God. The powers that be are ordained of God." That's only so long as they're following in the ordinances of God. And if they're not, you don't have any obligation to follow them any further.
Civil rights advocates believe the amount of public cooperation may depend largely on how long they expect a suspension of their rights might last. Jeff Farrell, KSLA News 12 reporting.
And according to Tuberville, during Hurricane Katrina, the Clergy Response Team provided 38 chaplains a day around the clock at 8 different camps.